one and all. On behalf of the Cardiums family, I welcome you all for this global virtual education fair. And good morning, parents and students. We have 10 universities with us, a few from Canada, a few from France, Paris, Japan, and few of them from India too. So, each university, they're going to introduce what are the popular programs in the particular university, their entry requirements. And after that, if you have any questions, you can always, as Alma said, you can drop it in the chat box. So over to you, sir. You can start, Divya Kumar, sir, from University of Ottawa. You can start introducing yourself. And then, Canada is famous for co-op programs, right? Give me a brief about co-op programs. And then, entry requirements. And then if we are okay with that, if the students have any questions, they can contact you directly. I think if you can drop your email ID in the chat box so that, if they have any questions, they can revert.
I will come to your questions later. Let me first introduce the university to you. A very good morning to all students present here. Thank you for coming. I am Divya and I work for the University of Ottawa in the South Asia and the Middle East region. Now, I know all of you know that Ottawa is the capital of Canada, and it is also the fourth largest city in Canada. It is so it's very strategically located on the border of Quebec and Ontario, giving you the best. Largely French dominated, and Ontario is largely English dominated. That makes Ottawa bilingual by nature. Now, it is also strategically located in terms of the location. Almost a 5 hours drive from Toronto, 2 hours to Montreal City, Boston, New York, and hour and a half to Boston and to New York. People also like to call Ottawa the Silicon Valley North because of high concentration of high-tech industries in the region. It is a beautiful city, known for its very high standard of living and high quality of living as well. Now, University of Ottawa again is very nicely placed right in the center of Ottawa. It is a 10 minutes walk from the Canadian Parliament, 15 minutes walk from the Prime Minister's home. The governor stays near to the campus too. So it just goes to show that it's a very downtown campus and a very safe campus to be in. University of Ottawa offers close to 350 undergraduate programs in their 9 different faculties. Now, I would just like to mention the faculties because I'm sure you want to know, where you would want to go. But I have noticed that in the South, you see that most of you would want to do engineering. So we have a faculty of engineering. We have a faculty of science. Nonetheless, the biggest faculty that we have is the social sciences faculty. We also have the faculty of arts. We have medicine, law, if you need to do it after you finished your bachelor's. And we have education as well. Now, we have on-campus housing for first-year students, and we guarantee that to all our first-year students. And, because all the residential area is very near to the campus, if you choose to stay off campus, you're still just a walking distance from the campus. University of Ottawa has very simple requirements. You have to apply through Ontario University's Application Center, OUAC, fill up the 105 form. Now, this is a common app for the Ontario region. We only have applications open through OUAC, so you'll have to go to OUAC and apply through the 105 form. Once you've filled up the form, you will have to submit your documents, your 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. Make sure that you are good in your academics. We have never admitted anybody into any of our program with less than 75%. The higher the percentage, the better are the chances. For engineering, the requirements are above 85%. So, if you have 80 and 85, 80% and above, you are in competition. But if you have a higher percentage, say for example, 90% or 92, you have a greater chance of getting admission at University of Ottawa. Other than this, we have various scholarships available. We have the President, Chancellor, Vice Chancellor. These are large scholarships amounting to 26,000 Canadian dollars, renewable every year. But we have some faculty scholarships. So for example, for engineering students, we have a $5,000 entry scholarship if you are able to secure an admission at University of Ottawa. If you have more than 92%, you have a 10,000 Canadian dollars scholarship, which is automatic, renewable every year. So the total value of the scholarship is 40,000 Canadian dollars. So these are automatic scholarships that you need not apply to. Similar to these, there are scholarships with other faculties which you can check, or maybe drop me an email and I can send you details about the scholarships a little more. I think that's more or less what I really want to talk about for University of Ottawa in these 3 minutes. However, if you have any other questions, you can write to me directly at india@uottawa.ca, or you can also write to me at dkumar2, that's numerical 2, @uottawa.ca. Thank you very much. Over to Almas again.
Thank you, Divya. Thank you very much. So from moving on to another Canadian university, I would like to invite Ms. Garima Narang from Lakehead.
Thank you, Almas. Welcome, everyone. I'm Garima, the Senior Advisor for Lakehead University. To share some quick insight of Lakehead, we are a fully comprehensive university, 10,000 full-time students. Lakehead is in the province of Ontario. There are 2 campuses. So the signature campus of the university is in a city called Thunder Bay. So all our bachelor's, master's and PhD program are offered at the Thunder Bay campus. Another campus is in a city called Orillia, which is less than 90 minutes from Greater Toronto. That is the dedicated undergraduate campus. And we pretty much all the programs, whether it's engineering, science, or arts-based. Lakehead has 10 faculties, including business, education, engineering, health and behavioral sciences, natural resource management, environmental, social science, humanities, law, and medicine. In terms of the ranking of Lakehead, we are among the top 2 universities in Ontario, top 10 in Canada, and number 1 for research at undergraduate level for the last 5 years in a row. So whoever is looking to study something into science, whatever programs have co-ops, so whether a student is looking to apply for a bachelor management, engineering, any science based, majority of a program comes with a co-op option, which means whatever is being taught in the class, you get the real world experience. And these co-ops have been very strategically placed, starts after the second year. Another advantage is that Lakehead offers excellent scholarships to meritorious students, which starts from 75 and above. So students who get about 75 in their 12 would be eligible to apply for a $6,000 scholarship. Then we have a $7,500 scholarship for students between 80 to 89.9, and 90 and above would be offered a $10,000 scholarship. And these are absolutely academic based, so we would look at the grade 12 results or the midterm results to assess an application for. When we're looking at any of the bachelor's program, it could be either a 3 years or a 4 years. A 3 years is a regular bachelor's degree, but if a student is looking into an honors or a co-op, it becomes a 4 years degree. The average cost of the program is somewhere between 25,000 to 30 is for management and engineering, and about 25,000 for science-based and art-based program. That's about it in the nutshell. I would be here and would be absolutely excited to answer all your questions. You all could have my email ID. It's india.advisor@lakeheadu.ca. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Garima. Thank you very much. Moving on to Mr. Mahib Babbar from Instituto Marangoni.
Hello, good morning, everyone. So getting back to the university side, Istituto Marangoni is one of the pioneers of design education that started in Milan in 1935. So it's been almost 85 years we're there in the industry. So far, we have started about 10 centers. That means we have 2 schools in Milan, one in Paris, one in London, one in Florence, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Mumbai, Miami. Now, we are all in all known for the design courses. So our major intakes are going to be fashion, interiors, graphics, multimedia, product. So about out of the 10 schools, 9 are into fashion, design, and the interiors, graphics, multimedia. But one of the school in Florence is into arts as well. So art curation, art management, if you can think of. We are among the top 10 schools in the world with the alumni like Domenico Dolce from Dolce Gabbana, Salvatore Ferragamo, Moschino, Indian celebrity designers like Rahul Mishra, Dhruv Kapoor, the stylist of Ranveer Singh, Shah Rukh Khan is Akanksha Arora, again my alumni. So we have a huge list of alumni. Every year we have about 4,500 students getting graduated, and so far in the industry we have crossed 50,000 alumni in the industry who are working in the top brands like Louis Vuitton, Prada, Armani, Versace, Christian Dior, H&M, you name it, will be working there. And the best thing is the placement, 94% placement with 88% only with the luxury brands. I will give a little more emphasis on the campus, which is in India as well. The India campus has 4 undergraduate programs for the students who have just crossed 12. That is fashion design, fashion business, fashion styling, and interior designing. A 3-year program, country bridging. That means you can do a year in India, you can do 2 years in Milan, Paris, London, Florence, or you can do 2 years in India and you can do the last year in Milan, Paris, or Florence. So there's an option to do the bridging of wherever you can start the course and you can end your course. That is going to be your call, but definitely my suggestion is always offer 2 campuses rather than 3 and make it a vocational tour. So that's about the campus. About the scholarships, we do have a scholarship of 2 million euros, which is being shared between the 10 campuses every year. So you just not get the scholarship in the first year, you also get it in the second year, you can also get it in the third year. First year is basis on the merits that you have gained in the previous prerequisites. That means we're going to look into your academic, your co-curriculum activities, your SOP, your portfolio, and your interview. On the basis of these 5 genres, you get a scholarship of 10, 15, or 20%. The moment you're into the college of class with the 20 students, the one who is the best among that whole year will get a scholarship of 20, 30, and 50%. Again, for the third year, you can apply again. And if you're again the best among those two, in the second year among 20 students, you can apply for a scholarship. It is going to be 30, 50, and 100%. So we don't mind giving scholarships, but you have to, prove that you are one of the best students. So that's about it. If you have any queries, I'll be happy to put my details in the chat box and you can connect with me, and definitely you can ask me as many questions as you want, be it of any design genre. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Mahip. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next university, I would like to invite Ms. Nilanjana Shin from Trinity College, Dublin.
Thank you, Almas. I'll just share my screen. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nilanjana Shin. I'm the Senior Recruitment Advisor for Trinity College, Dublin. I'm delighted to be here today to talk to you about how Trinity can add a unique edge and acceleration to your education as well as your career path. Before telling you about Trinity, I will provide a very brief overview of Ireland to give you an insight about the real post-study career outcomes and also the abundance of industry interface which is available through projects, internships, and part-time job opportunities during your journey as a student. So Ireland is the fastest growing economy in Europe, and that is due to the presence of over 1,200 leading global companies. A majority of these are companies which have their European headquarters here. With Brexit, it is now the only English-speaking country in the European Union. It offers a 1-year stay-back or job search visa for international students. And part-time work is permitted for 20 hours a week during term time and 40 hours or more during the breaks, which is from June to September and 15 December to 15 January period. ICT, financial services, medical tech, and biopharma are the key sectors of Irish economy. It is the world's second largest exporter of IT and computer services. Global giants like Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, LinkedIn, Twitter, Intel, Accenture, HP have their European headquarters here, while Dublin is Europe's hub of eminent gaming companies. Neck to neck with ICT is the financial services sector, which is led by more than 250 global firms, including more than 25 major banks in the world. So the reason that I'm highlighting these aspects of the bustling economic scenario in Ireland is to give you a clear sense of the employability opportunities that are available to international students. Going back to the third key sector of Irish economy, which is pharma, biopharma, and biotech, it is driven by over 300 leading companies such as Johnson & Johnson, GlaxoSmithKline, Novartis, Abbott and Bayer, as well as many others. This makes Ireland the top European country for international pharmaceutical investment. And last but certainly not the least is the medical technology sector that has made Ireland a global leader for the second largest employer of medtech professionals throughout Europe. We have over 400 entities like Becton Dickinson, Boston Scientific, Trident, Medtronic, and Stryker that are involved in developing, manufacturing, and marketing medical devices, thus offering substantial employment opportunities for science and engineering graduates. Ireland is also the most entrepreneurial country in Europe, so there is a lot of support available in terms of funding and mentorship for all kinds of startups as well. Coming now to Trinity, which was founded in 1592 and is one of the 7 ancient universities of the world, along with Oxford and Cambridge. Trinity has actively built on its tradition of academic excellence, and in our 428th year, we are ranked 101st in the world, and also, we are among the top 100 for employability of our graduates. Our employability is 93 to 96% within the first 3 months after graduation, and we are also the most entrepreneurial university in Europe for the 5th consecutive year. This is our 47 acres campus located right in the heart of Dublin city centre and as a part of the Global Innovation Hub. This slide reflects our identity as a world-leading modern university with a clear vision and solutions for a better world. We have 3 faculties and 24 schools, and we offer 4 years honors courses in almost all academic disciplines, ranging from business, computer science, engineering, science, to psychology, law, history, English, economics, political science, sociology, philosophy, film studies, and music. A vast majority of our schools, including computer science, psychology, and sciences, are among the top 100 in the world. We also offer 5-year integrated professional master degrees in 2 disciplines, engineering and computer science, which gives our students the option of a 6-month paid internship. Our general entry requirements are a minimum of 80% aggregate. For IB, the overall points required range between 32 to 37, depending on the program. For A-levels, we need 4 A2 and best 3 A2 plus AS. Additionally, programs like science, computer science, engineering, and business have subject-specific requirements. For engineering and computer science, we need maths in class 12 with a minimum of 75%. For sciences, we need 2 science subjects with a minimum of 75%. And for business, we will be able to accept students with or without maths in class 12. We had 1 intake in September, and applications commenced on 1st October of the previous year. All applications are online through the course page on our website, and we issue conditional offers on the basis of predicted grades and 2 academic LORs that are mandatory. Our tuition fee range between 19,000 to 26,000 per year. For all humanities related programs, it is 19,000, and for all science lab-based STEM programs, it is 26,000 euros per year. And the living costs are approximately 13,000 euros per year. We offer partial scholarships of 5,000 euros, which are one-off scholarships for the first year. I can talk more about it depending on the queries that you may have. In addition to our general scholarships, we also have scholarships for every year, 4,000 to 5,000 euros per year for each year of the program. And these are specific to our engineering programs and our science programs. All scholarships are merit based and you need to apply to them after you have got a conditional offer from us. That is it. I will be happy to answer your questions. This is my email address, nilanjana.shin@tcd.ie. So in case you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I will just wrap up by saying that Trinity is a university with an incredible past and a very exciting future. So please reach out in case you would want to know more about it. Thank you very much, Almas.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So moving on to one of Europe's top business schools, I would like to invite Mr. Daljit Panging from ESSEC Business School. I guess Daljit got logged out. So moving on to the next university, I would like to invite Ms. Niharika Kataria from University of Windsor, Canada.
Thank you, Almas, and good morning, everybody. I'm Niharika, and I represent the University of Windsor, which is in Canada, the Ontario province in Canada, and a comprehensive university in Canada, research-based university. We were established in 1954 and offer around 200 plus majors and minors across 9 faculties. We are a medium-sized university offering around 70 plus masters and doctorate degrees too. There are 16,000 students studying across various faculties. Moving on to where we are located in the Ontario province of Canada. As you see on the map at the right hand side of your screen, we are right at the borders of US and Canada. So the location of the city attracts a lot of international students. We are an international border city and a diverse city. The weather conditions are pretty favorable. We get 7 months of short sleeve weather, unlike the other parts of Canada where it can be very freezing at times. Moving on to what sets us apart, the kind of state-of-the-art teaching facilities that we provide. At the moment, we have invested a lot of money and thought process into getting our courses online due to the pandemic. So $1.5 million have been invested in getting these courses, in getting the lectures online so that you guys can take it from the comfort of your homes. In terms of diversity, we have 90 plus nationalities studying under the same roof, be it faculty, staff, or student population. We are a medium-sized university, so very well-connected campus and a very tightly knit campus. You don't feel lost in the crowd. Affordability-wise, the tuition fee ranges from 30,000 Canadian dollars to 40,000 Canadian dollars, and the cost of living is between 8,000 Canadian dollars to 10,000 Canadian dollars per annum. The ability to work on or off campus is there. While you're doing your 4-year degree, you can work part-time for 20 hours, either in the various departments of the university or off campus in restaurants and stores. You can earn around 14 Canadian dollars per hour. That is the minimum wage. In terms of the support that we provide, international students have ranked us very highly, and we provide exceptional support to our students. We know you need some assistance and guidance since you're going away from your families, away from your comfort zones. There's a lot of hand-holding that happens at the university. Moving on to the programs that we have various faculties, and these are some of the popular programs. Around 120 to choose from, but these are some of the popular ones that Indian students generally take. So Bachelor's of Commerce has accounting, finance, human resource, entrepreneurship as specializations. The Bachelor of Sciences has biotechnology, biochemistry, apart from the traditional maths. maths, physics, chemistry, and biology. We also have some very interesting subjects in forensics and computer sciences. The star that you see, noted alongside the names of the programs means that we have co-ops program embedded into it. So co-ops are like internships. Like Mahita ma'am was mentioning in the beginning, we have co-ops embedded into our commerce program, into our engineering programs, into our computer science programs. So along with your academics, you will be able to gain some experience while you are studying at the University of Windsor. From the second year onwards, you choose your specialization and you get selected for a co-op. And you can earn up to 2,000 to 3,000 Canadian dollars for every term that you do a co-op in. The Bachelor of Applied Sciences and Engineering has various specializations, so civil, electrical, environmental, industrial, mechanical, automotive, environmental, and materials engineering specializations. Not very many universities across Canada would have so many specializations within the engineering branch. We also have Bachelor of Human Kinetics, which is related to rehabilitation or physiotherapy. So movement sciences, sports psychology are some of the specializations. The Bachelor of Arts and Humanities, which is one of the largest faculties, and 55% of our global leaders come from a Bachelor of Arts background. So in case you want to tread on that path, you can choose courses in international relations, political science, sociology, and many more programs. Moving on to the admissions requirement, we need grade 12, 10th, and 11th scores when you're applying to this university. It is through the common OUAC platform. You can apply to us through OUAC, and the minimum scores required are between 70 to 80% Ontario standards. So around 65% if you're coming from an ICSE or CBSE board. If you're coming from an IB curriculum, the minimum is 24 IB points, and 6.5 IELTS is required. Scholarships are based on academic merit, and they range from 1,000 and go up to 16,000 Canadian dollars. You don't have to apply separately. You will be automatically assessed for scholarships. These are my details. You can take a screenshot or make a note of it and write to me if you have any specific queries related to the University of Windsor. Thank you so much for being patient listeners. Over to you, Almas.
Thank you, Niharika. Thank you very much. So I guess Ms. Doljit is here with us. So Doljit, over to you. Doljit, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, trying to share the screen. Can you see the screen? Just tell me if it's possible. Can you see?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So good morning, Almaz, and good morning, everybody. As you can see the first slide, you can see it will be going to be a presentation for a few minutes about Bachelor in Business Administration program in Paris as well as in France. So before I start my presentation, my name is Doljit Panging. I am the recruitment manager for ESSEC Business School. So although you can see in the slide, we have several master programs, including the MBAs, which are well ranked globally by Financial Times ranking. But today, now I'm just concentrating about the Global BBA program, which is for you, the students who are appearing for class 12 or who appeared already, they can apply. So in the next slide, you can see, just give a rough idea how old is the institution. You can see since 1907, we are creating the leaders in the business world. So there are a few name of the person who are from ESSEC. In the website as well as in the brochure, you can come to know more details about them. You can see the Global BBA program. It is ranked #1 in France for more than 11 years. So why I'm saying it's France, because it's a French business school, but remember, the French language is not required for the curriculum. The entire curriculum is in English. So it's a 4-year BBA program, 100% in English. So don't scared about the language. Next slide. The other master program, as I mentioned, we are top 5 always. This is a little bit older ranking, but you can see the new one in the website. So if you think, if you study in ASEC, is it well recognized? You can see it is, we call Triple Crown. Very few business schools, they have Triple Crown in the world. So what does it mean? It means it's accepted worldwide by different institute if you go for master program, as well as if you apply in different companies. So everybody knows about Paris. We also have a campus in Singapore. So you can decide whether you apply in Paris campus or Singapore campus. This is few points where you should, why you should study in Singapore. So what is unique in ASEC? So if you see, we have, the main idea is learning by doing. It is the students, they do 10 to 12 months of internship in 4 years. So most interesting thing is the apprenticeship track. In this track, the student, they study 4 years, and the first 2 years you have a choice, either Paris or Singapore. And the last 2 years, you work for a company. And while working in the company, you will get a salary, you will gain experience. Very important thing, you don't have to pay your tuition fee. Your tuition fee will be paid by the company. So that means in last 2 years, you, instead of paying your tuition fee, you are gaining salaries, you are earning salaries, gaining your work experience. So why the company, they pay for the student while studying in ASEC? Because of this strength, what we have in ASEC. So this is what you learn in entire 4 years. Although I said the entire curriculum is in English, but we give a very much emphasis on the foreign language. For example, the French, we will teach you. Doesn't matter you learn French or no. We will teach you French plus one more language you need to choose. Be careful, this is not for your curriculum. This is to prepare you for internship, prepare you for the job market. In the next slide, you can see you can choose 160 plus partner universities. You can go anywhere in the world while studying in 4 years in 42 countries. There are a few name of the topmost institute you can see with the logo in the end of the lower part of the slide. So you can choose any of the institution. So you also can go for dual degree, 1 degree from ASEC, 1 degree from any of the institution. Most interesting things, what you will earn after 4 years. So if you see in 4 years, after 4 years, this is the salary what students get. This is the initial average salary. You can see in the website, you can see in the brochure. Till now, nobody came back after 4 years and saying, sir, I don't have any salary like this, what you sold. So from there you can make out. And where in the industry the student goes. So all the percentage you can see, this is based on the survey of 2018. So this is the job situation when they get the job. You can see almost 96% of students they get within less than 6 months of their global BBA program. Only few slides left. I will just conclude my presentation and then you can ask in the Q&A session. You can type your questions. Be careful when you apply, you should apply as early as possible because you can see the scholarship. We have 20,000 scholarship for excellence scholarship, diversity scholarship, 12,000 euros, and 2021 intake is on. There's no SAT score required. Most interesting thing, no TOEFL, no IELTS when you apply in ASEC. So for more details, there's an email ID as well as the WhatsApp number. It's an Indian number. You can connect me anytime. And thanks for listening. Looking forward to see you in ASEC in Paris or Singapore campus. For any question, you can ask with the type your question. Thank you, Almas. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Doljit. Thank you very much. So moving back to Canada, I would like to invite Ms. Sita from University of Waterloo.
Thanks, Almas. Just give me 1 second. I'll share my
screen. Sure.
And I'll be very quick. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sita Dronam Raju, and just FYI, I'm also in the city of Hyderabad. So pretty much like your neighbor or very close and accessible to Hyderabadis. I am the recruitment officer for the Faculty of Mathematics based out of India, but I can help you with all the other faculties that we have at the University of Waterloo. University of Waterloo was started in 1957. Most innovative university for the last 28 years. We have 6 faculties and 1,000+ undergrad students, and almost 1 out of 5 students are international students. You will be meeting students from almost 160 different countries on campus. So that gives you an idea about the diversity we have on campus. We have 7,100 co-op employers or companies that we have partnered with for our co-op jobs. Since we are one of the most successful and one of the largest co-op schools of Canada, we have partnered with companies across 60 countries. I'll talk a little bit about co-op in my next few slides. This is where we are located. Again, I had a lot of my colleagues who are from the province of Ontario. So we are also from the province of Ontario, about 114 kilometers to the west of Toronto City, which is the largest city of and most well-known city of Canada. And it takes about an hour, hour and a half to drive from the Pearson International Airport to University of Waterloo. It's a very student-friendly city with a population of about 500,000 people. Waterloo is a part of a tri-city, the other 2 cities being Kitchener and Cambridge, and these 3 cities together are called the Silicon Valley of the North, primarily because of the pool of startup companies and the availability of technology in these cities. That's one of the reasons why Google Canada is headquartered in Waterloo. Like I've already mentioned, we are very, very accessible to the city of Toronto. You can take a bus, a train, or just share a cab and drive down to downtown Toronto. This is an aerial view of our campus, the main campus, which is about 1,000 acres, pretty much like a city within a city. So as a student, you will find almost everything you need on campus, whether your residences, libraries, bookstores, grocery stores, everything is available. Apart from the main campus, which is in Waterloo, we have 3 satellite campuses. In Cambridge, we have the School of Architecture. In Kitchener, we have the School of Pharmacy. And in Stratford, we have the School for Global Business and Digital Art. These are the 6 faculties I mentioned: Applied Health Sciences, Sciences, Arts, Environment, Engineering, and Mathematics. The highlighted programs are the programs that we give in partnership with some business courses. So we don't have a business school. So if you're interested in a BBA, we don't have that, but we have a lot of programs where we give you business as a major along with other majors. So you can check this out on our website to get more details of the programs we are offering. And then of course, co-op, my colleagues have already mentioned about co-op. Co-op is slightly different from internships. The main reason being that co-op is across a whole term. So you work for about 35 to 40 hours through an entire semester which is of 4 months. That's one major difference, whereas internships can be for a few hours over a weekend at the end of your semester. So the time period is limited compared to a co-op. The second major difference, of course, is all co-op terms are paid work terms. Internships could be paid or unpaid. It is kind of a big deal at the University of Waterloo. At the University of Waterloo, we have almost like 6 work terms. So we basically follow a pattern where you start with a study term, then you work, then you go back to study, you come back to work, and this sequence goes on till you graduate. So what that translates to you as a student is there will be a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 6 work terms. And if you do manage to do 6 work terms, which are available mostly to the students in engineering, mathematics, computer science, you will graduate with about 2 years of work experience, which looks really fantastic on your resume. During these co-op terms, you can earn anywhere between $33,000 to $90,000. Let me just remind you, this is not what you earn per co-op term. It's over your 4 or 6 co-op terms. And of course, the most important part of co-op is the experiential learning, to which you cannot attach any price tag, because you gain experience, you network with companies, you learn how to find your graduate, you are an expert at landing yourself in the best possible job, giving you a very good salary, and of course, something that you really enjoy doing. Tuition fee ranges from 40,000 to 61,000 Canadian dollars. The admission requirements are kind of pretty high. I understand your school has both CBSE and IGCSE. So for the CBSE students, I would say that we look for 90% or higher for your predicted grades. So we will only ask you for your 12th mark sheet and your 10th mark sheet and your 12th predicted grades. For students in the IGCSE, we don't accept AS level grades. We need a minimum of 3 A-level subjects. So depending on the program you're applying for, we would look for A's and A stars. You check the admission requirement on the website, and remember that is the minimum requirement that makes you eligible to apply. The higher you go, the better your chances of getting admission. And just make a note of the website, uwaterloo.ca/future-students. From that link, you can actually download soft copies of our brochures. So if there's anything beyond this presentation that you want to find out, you're free to download the soft copies. They're all PDF and very easy to download. These are my contact details. So in case you want to write to me or WhatsApp me, I'd be very happy to connect with you and guide you with your application. The application process, just like my colleagues from Ontario mentioned, will be through the OUAC. So you can maybe pick 2 other universities, and Waterloo could be the 3rd one. Thank you, everyone. And I'll leave my contact details in the chat box as well. So you can make a note of it and call me or write to me. Thank you so much. Thanks, Alma.
Thank you, Sita. Thank you very much. So moving on to another Canadian university, University of Victoria. Saurabh, over to you.
Can you see this screen, Almas?
Yes, it is there.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. My name is Saurabh. I work for the University of Victoria. In front of you is the Victoria campus. I mean, it's 406 acres of campus. It's a single campus, so that all accommodation, your library, every facility is there inside the single campus. Talking about the city of Victoria, I mean, it's the capital city of the British Columbia province. So being a capital city, you can understand, the city offers you all the prominent resources as well as the facilities which you need as a student out there. Victoria is one of the oldest post-secondary institutions in British Columbia, because we started our journey back in 1903 and we got the university status in 1968. So it's basically 116 plus years of history that we have. It's a public university. It's a research university funded by the government. City-wise, the population of Victoria is just under 4 lakhs, and which is by Canadian standards a decent population. And when it comes to the weather, because there are a lot of apprehensions for the students about the weather conditions in Canada, but here, I mean, in Victoria, it's very beautiful weather, which ranges from 8-degree winters and 22-degree summers. So any student traveling from Asia, I mean, will not have any issues in terms of the weather. Location-wise, we are just on the Canadian and US border. Nearest city is Vancouver and nearest US city is Seattle. So, I mean, a good place to be at. Victoria happens to be a mid-sized university. Mid-sized university means, you have better accessibility to the resources of the university, your faculty connects, your peer connects. So, I mean, we have a very good average of, 22:1 as a student-faculty ratio that we follow. And overall students, roughly 122,000 students on campus, out of which 18,500 undergraduate and 3,400 are international students who travel from 109 countries. So good mix of local as well as international students out there. Now rankings, again, whenever a student selects a university abroad, they also like to know the university. Now Victoria happens to have a very impressive and amazing rankings. We are ranked in top 3 universities for almost a decade now in terms of the comprehensive universities, and we have been ranked number 1 for our graduate employability in terms of the Canadian comprehensive universities. Now all these rankings are basically have 2-3 factors the overall program satisfaction, the kind of education that we provide. And I mean, overall, subject-wise as well, even you'll find various of our courses ranked in under 200.
Saurabh, are you there? I guess he got logged out. So we'll just continue. So coming back to India, I would like to invite Mr. Shailendra Singh from UP Jindal University.
Thank you, Almas. Good morning, everyone. So I'll quickly share my screen. I'll take you through the slides. Just a minute. Is it visible?
Yes, it's there.
Thank you. So we are UP Jindal Global University, a philanthropic initiative by Mr. Naveen Jindal, established in 2009. We are based in Sonipat, Delhi NCR, and we are spread across 80-acre campus, under which we are providing 16 undergraduate programs under 8 interdiscipline schools, which makes us a multidiscipline university. In less than a decade, I will say we have been quoted as one of the most promising and upcoming university in the country. And what supports that are the rankings and the accolades that we have achieved in less than a decade. So first is the Institute of Eminence, which is a central government's initiative to pick and choose 20 universities from the country which has the capability to become or to rank among the world best universities across the globe. So they picked up 10 public universities and 10 private universities from the country, and we have been selected as one of them. QS World Ranking has ranked us the #1 private university in the country. QS is an agency which ranks global university, and so their rankings are very much authentic, and you can really rely on the rankings. And we have consistently been ranked first and second for the cleanest campus in the country. And apart from UGC, we are also accredited by NAC as A grade. Just a quick run through about the university. So we were established in year 2009, and in this we started with 50-acre campus. Today it's 80+ acre campus we have. We started with School of Law. Today we have 8 schools under with us. We started with 112 students. Today there are 4,000+ students in the campus. From 10 faculty members, today we have 400+ faculty members in the campus. Our Jindal Global Law School has been ranked as in the bracket of top 101 to 150 in the world. Why Jindal Global University? So I'll just highlight some parameters which will really help you in deciding that why you should actually choose Jindal Global University, or why we have been really becoming one of the most upcoming and promising university in the country. So, we offer 16 undergraduate programs, as I said. We will also type these programs in the chat box for your convenience. And these are offered under 8 interdisciplinary schools. So we have LLB, we have BBA Honors plus MBA Integrated Program, BBA, Legal Studies, BA Global Affairs, Political Science, BCom, Social Science and Policy, Liberal Arts and Humanities, Journalism and Media Studies, Architecture, Built Environment Studies, Design and Environment Studies. Coming on to the parameters which we're talking about, faculty. So we have been ranked as one of the best universities to maintain a faculty-student ratio of 1:10. In fact, each faculty member has an international degree, and they carry a rich industry experience with them, and they bring that experience to the classroom. So 73% faculty are having at least one international degree, and we have 16% faculty members are of foreign nationals. As I said, we maintain a faculty-student ratio of 1:10, and 43% faculties in the university are and so every semester we around 200 elective subjects are offered, across 100 across listed electives. Talking about the infrastructure, it is the campus is spread across 82-acre campus, and it's a fully centrally air-conditioned classrooms. Even the hostels are centrally air-conditioned. The library, we talk about library, we have a massive collection of 9,000 books and 12,000 journals. The catering services are, taken care by Sodexo. And apart from the dining hall, we also have a food court, which includes Domino's, Subway, and Burgos. In fact, we welcome you all to visit the campus. When things get normalized, please take out time and do visit the campus. Even, in fact, you want to visit the campus, anytime soon, then you can drop a mail to us so that we ensure that all the necessary precautions are taken care, and there is someone who can take you through the campus. Student life, it's a very lively culture. Students have, they have their own clubs and societies. So there are almost more than 28 clubs and societies which are run by the students, and they conduct, cultural fest throughout the year, which keeps it as a very lively campus throughout the year. Talking about sports facilities, we have an Olympic-size swimming pool. Apart from that, there is cricket ground, football ground, badminton court, tennis court, basketball, volleyball court. A lot of options for the students to choose from. So it's not only academics throughout, but the students also get the opportunity to go out and do some physical activities. If we talk about our alumni, so our alumni are well placed and they're working with reputed organizations like Google, Amazon, American Express. In the ITC, they're also working with think tank like Ernst & Young, PwC, McKinsey. They're working with United Nations program. Our law students are working with international law firms, and the students who have chose to go for higher education, they are working with Ivy League and world-class universities. So I'll just give you a quick glance. So they are working with University of Oxford, Stanford, University of Cambridge, King's College London, many more. So again, I'll suggest you should visit the website, and a lot of information is there on the website. Talking about the admission process, it's an online process. And so first step is your application. You have to go online, you have to fill the application. Second step is the online test. We called it as JSAT, Jindal Scholastic Aptitude Test. And third step is the interview round with the faculty members. Right? So you don't need to go anywhere. It's all online. And even the test, till last year, you had to visit the test center. But this year, we have made it sitting at home. So JSAT, basically, we have a tie-up with Pearson VUE. And they have test centers across the country. But as I said, today you can sit at home and you can give this test. It's a 120-minute test which covers 3 sections: logical reasoning, quantitative aptitude, and verbal ability. So the JSAT is basically for all the programs except for law and the ARC. For law, the student has to give LSAT India. We do not take CLAT exam results, but LSAT India is mandatory. And for pursuing architectural program, you have to do a NATA test, that is National Aptitude Test in Architecture. This is what all the students who are looking forward to pursue architect in India. What do we really look forward in an interview? So oral communication, written communication, imagination and creativity, self-reflection. So the idea is we have very limited seats, but the number of applications that we receive is far more than the number of seats that we have. So we have to ensure that we select not the brightest, but we select a student who is really passionate about about the program that he or she wants to pursue, has a lot of interest, and what value addition they can bring to the campus. This is what actually the faculty or the dean of the school looks when in an interview. We do have scholarship. Scholarships are based on means come merit basis. So when I say means come merit basis, means is basically your faculty income.
Sorry to interrupt, but if we can actually skip all this, yeah.
This is the last slide, right? Thank you so much. So any queries, you can put it on the chat box.
Thank you, Shailendra.
Thank you.
So Saurabh, if you want to take up where you left from.
I'll do that. So sorry, my internet went off. sometimes technology can. Now I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes, it is there.
Okay, so as I was talking about the co-op, yes, co-ops again at UVic, 42% of our students do enroll in co-ops. Your program might not have a mandatory requirement of the co-op, but you can still apply for it. On an average, you can earn up to $11,400 in your co-ops. That is per term of co-op, and you do 3 to 4 such terms in while you are there in this program. These are the kind of employers that you can get access to. You can imagine having a Google or a Tesla or a Microsoft on your resume will really make sense once you look out for. Students who do enroll in these co-ops, 75% of these students already have a job offer in hand by the time they graduate. And talking about the distribution, 80% roughly works in British Columbia. There are a decent 13% who work in different provinces of Canada, and there are also 8% of the students who work outside Canada as well. Faculty wise, you have all the faculties available here which are very popular amongst Indian students. However, if in case you're looking forward to medicine, dentistry, law, or design, then these programs will not be open. Some of the popular programs are listed out here. We are very famous for our engineering programs, especially for BSc Computer Science as well as Computer Science Engineering. Other programs in engineering are software, electrical, and mechanical, which are very popular. Social sciences happens to be another very popular faculty, which has the highest number of enrollments. Psychology, economics, and environmental sciences are the popular programs out here. In sciences, we have physics and astronomy, as well as statistics with computer science for students who are looking forward to data sciences kind of program. School of Business has only one program, that is Bachelor's of Commerce. Please don't compare it with Indian BCom, because it's a comprehensive business management program. It is just the name that Bachelor's of Commerce is there. You can specialize in international business, entrepreneurship, or services management from this program. Academic wise, since most of you are from A levels, we require you to have minimum C in all the subjects. We don't accept AS levels. We want you to have A level in your and 5 O level subjects and 3 A level subjects is what we look at. We should have a minimum C in subjects, and relevant subjects you should have a B plus. If you are a CBSE or IRC student, then obviously you're looking at in the range of 80%, 75 to 80%, depends on the faculty. Engineering, business, and computer science will have a slightly higher requirement. So between 80 to 85% you should score out there. English language proficiency, yes, we need that. IELTS 6.5 with no section less than 6, or TOEFL 90 with no less than 20. If you are from an English medium institution for past 4 years, if you've done your all your curriculum in English medium, you will get however, for the visa, you do require an IELTS. This is your tuition fees breakup. Roughly the average tuition fees is under $26,000, and accommodation you'll get a choice between single, double seater, or a cluster accommodation. Roughly a ballpark figure for your education would be 20 lakhs, 22 lakhs, like that. We do have scholarships, but these are all academic entrance scholarships. So for students who are academically bright, the scholarship ranges from $2,000 to $10,000. And if you're an IB student and you score beyond 32 points, then we have a guaranteed scholarship. Any questions or queries you may have, you can just post it to me on this email ID.
Thank you, Saurabh.
We'll discuss it.
Thank you, Saurabh. So very quickly, I would like to invite Mr. Vansh Shuk from Atria University.
Thank you, Almas. My name is Janvi. I'll actually be representing Atria University today. Let me just share my screen really quickly. Is that visible?
Yes, it's there.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity to be talking about Atria University today. As this says, we are about expecting the unconventional, and we are trying to redefine what higher education looks like in India. So brief introduction, we're actually a liberal sciences university. And what that means is that we're taking the pedagogy of the liberal arts philosophy, which I'll come to it, what it is exactly, but we're taking that pedagogy and applying it. We're one of the world's first universities to be applying that to the STEM fields, so the science, technology, engineering, and math fields. And the only other university in the world that does something very similar to us is MIT. So what exactly is the liberal arts pedagogy? We move from a predefined track or from a narrow tunnel of studying only one thing and studying the same thing from the start to the end of your educational career to a flexible learning pathway. So you are able to explore and then decide what you want to learn on over the course of your educational career. We move from subject boundaries or from studying purely one subject or one expertise over your educational career to interdisciplinary learning. And we understand how to bring in the STEM fields and the humanities fields and the commerce fields together into this confluence that will make sure that you're relevant and for the jobs of tomorrow. We move away from traditional classrooms, traditional lectures, or examinations. We have none of those. Instead, we have you work on real projects outside in the city. We have you explore the city that Atria is situated at the heart of Bangalore. So as a tech university, you will be in the Silicon Valley of the East, studying from the best minds in the city and not just in the classroom. And you will be doing all of this not to become yet another university graduate who either struggles with employment or looks at jobs of the past for employment, but you will instead be equipped with enough experience, work experience, project experience along with industry partners. You will have a portfolio by the time you graduate to actually become someone who can walk up to an industry leader that you've already worked with before and then say, this is the gap I see and this is the job I want to do. And because our university experience is going to be so revolutionary, how we select you for our university as well is revolutionary. We don't care about your grades. We don't have a cutoff system. All we care about is all of your qualities, what you're passionate about, whether you're rigorous or not, whether you're curious about it, whether you've demonstrated excellence in entrepreneurial qualities and projects that you've done before. We do not care about your grades. Now, how we go about this really quickly, I've talked about all of this. We teach you how to think instead of what to think. We don't teach you a set of 5 formulas and say, now you're an engineer. We teach you what an engineering mind looks like and how you'd be able to adapt to it. You go through a 4-year course where you're able to explore first, discover, then deep dive and find your field of expertise. And by your 4th year, we make sure that you're an expert who has contributed something to the field or the industry that you're interested in. We offer 5 majors. These majors aren't majors that you would find in any other university of the world because they're majors, futuristic majors that have been created by combining existing fields. The sustainable life sciences field, for example, includes the fields of biology, biotechnology, organic chemistry, AI and ethics, etc., and a number of other subjects, but essentially combining all of these existing streams of fields to make them into majors that are relevant for industry that exists today. We offer 4 degrees. Like I said, we're a liberal sciences university, so we focus on the sciences aspect of degrees. So we offer a BTech, a BDes, a BSc, or a BBA. And anyone can study at Atria University so long as they've got the right qualities. You don't have to be from a particular stream in your 11th or 12th. You don't have to have studied science before, and you definitely don't have to have scored a particular grade in science before, because our first year essentially enables every kind of student, so long as they have the entrepreneurial grit and rigor, to be able to study engineering, to be able to get onto that point where they can gain an engineering mindset. And we do this through combining fields of study from humanities, from commerce, and from science to give you the strongest foundation you can have. And you do this through courses, you do this through industry projects, and you do this through industry workshops from experts, all in just your first year to go on to more high-tech courses in the next 3 years. We offer beyond just assured placements. We ensure that you're continuously working with industry partners over your 4 years and building your portfolio of projects that you've led or owned or contributed significantly to, ensuring that by the time you graduate, it's not just a placement sales office that you're waiting in for, but you have a resume that is so full of experiences that you can go on to immediately participating in the industry as an expert. Our professors, our academic council, our visiting faculty and permanent faculty come from around the world. They come from MIT, from Stanford, from UPenn, from the University of Florida, and they're all professors around the world who care about our mission and our philosophy of revolutionizing higher education. Our admissions process is all online, and it follows the Ivy League process, where you first go through an online application, which will ask you about your perspectives, your views, and your unique opinion on life around you. And if you pass that stage, then you go on to a student engagement and interaction day, where you'll essentially engage with other candidates such as yourself and faculty from Atria, who will take you to the insides of an Atria classroom and assess you for your learning abilities. And then if you pass that stage, you will go through an interview process with the leadership from Atria. Now, we are a need-blind school. Our fee structure is about 7.8 lakhs per annum. However, once you are admitted, nothing can prevent you from attending Atria University, especially not financial constraints. So we will assess your family's income once you are admitted. And based on that, we offer anywhere from a 20% to 100% fee waiver. On top of that, we also offer scholarships anywhere from 20% to 100% that are merit-based and excellence-based. We have a 20 crore endowment fund for just the founding year of 2020. Our application deadline for round 6 this year is September 6th. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in chat. I will also put my details, contact details in chat, and you're welcome to reach out to me anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Janvi. Thank you very much. So students, we are open for questions. If you have any query, kindly drop in your questions in Q&A box. Meanwhile, Mahita ma'am, if you want to ask few questions to the delegates.
Yeah, I just want to ask you two questions. When it comes to scholarship, everyone is mentioning that it's a merit base. What exactly the criteria you're looking from the student end? So is there any specific criteria? Student need to have 90% along with extracurricular and co-curricular activities. And I believe all Canadian universities, they don't look much of extracurricular and co-curricular, but what is the criteria to look for the scholarships? And second question is IELTS examination. If the student scoring consistently 6 in DP or 85 and above in CBSE curriculum, is there any waiver for the student so for the IELTS examination, or is it mandatory to take, the student need to have IELTS, then only the student will get admission? It's kind of any criteria is there? These two questions I have.
So we can have perspective from a Canadian university, and I can see Doljit is raising his hand. I know you do not take any IELTS in any competitive exam. Yeah.
So if it's, so can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
So madam is looking for Canadian university. I just interrupt in between because
no, it's in your slide you explained that no IELTS and TOEFL. That's why I mentioned as Canadian university.
Okay, very so it is very good. So for us, there's no IELTS, no TOEFL. It's from your institutes or any other. Last 3 years in English medium. No IELTS, no TOEFL, IMSEC. And if I think of, if I talk about the selectivity criteria, as a business school, we are looking at the overall performance of the students the last 3 years. Although there's no entry exam, it's not so easy. But at the same time, we don't see particular grade of 12 or 10. So we see the average grade of 9, 10, 11, and the predicted of 12. So plus there will be also an interview, 45 minutes interview with the teachers once they get selected for the interview. And then we also see the teacher's recommendation, your recommendation. So we ask the students for 2 teachers' recommendation. And this is not in your school format, it is in our format. So we have several questionnaires. And we also ask the teacher what is the strong weakness of the students and what is the measure strength of the student. So that is from ASEC for Paris and Singapore campus. Yeah, for a Canadian university, if somebody wants to speak. Yes.
Yeah, I saw Niharika was looking to answer that question.
Yeah, speaking on behalf of University of Windsor, all our scholarships, ma'am, are merit-based. So students who get more than 78% as far as university is concerned, University of Windsor is concerned, 78% and above will be eligible for scholarships which start from 1,000 to 16,000 Canadian dollars. The higher amount, the 16,000 and the 10,000 ones are very competitive and open to all international students. So you have to get 90 and above. But for all the other students, anybody who has a good 80-85% should be able to get 1,000 to 5,000 Canadian dollars scholarship. They're all based on academic merit, and the students don't need to apply separately. So as soon as their application is into our system and their documents, a complete set of documents is into the systems, we will assess them for scholarships. As far as IELTS is concerned, I think your second question was about IELTS. IELTS is a mandatory requirement for visa purposes, ma'am. So anybody who is going to a Canadian university will need to show a 6.5 IELTS score. As a university, for students who come from an IB background or the Cambridge curriculum, if they've been studying at these schools for more than 4 years, as University of Windsor's policy, we should be able to exempt them. But ultimately, for their visa purposes, they will definitely require an IELTS. And I think it is the same for most of us, but I'll let my colleagues speak about their university. Thank you.
Yeah, Garima wants to add on to it. Yeah.
Thank you. Hello, good morning, Ms. Mehta. Garima from Lakehead University. So for Lakehead, the scholarship is again based on the grade 12 final results. So how we evaluate the students should have at least an 80 in their grade 10, as well as more than 75% in their grade 12. So either we would evaluate on the basis of the midterm results or the final scores. And for Lakehead, there are 3 different types of scholarships. So from 75 to 79.9 would be offered a $4,000 scholarship. 80 to 89.9 would be offered a $5,000, and 90 and above would be offered a $7,500 scholarship. As mentioned by my fellow colleague, that majority of the Canadian universities look at their performance, academic performance, right? So they do not have to fill up a separate application form. And with respect to the English also, the IELTS examination has rightly said that only because of the visa, they would need to have an IELTS. But to get into the universities particularly, all they have to do is to get a certificate from the school that last 3 years were taught in English, right? Especially students coming from the CBSE or ICSE have to get, not really from IB or from A levels, but for CBSE, they have to get that certificate duly signed by the counselor that last 3 years were taught in English, and the institution would waive off the IELTS condition. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Garima. So, Nilanjana ma'am, if you want to say something on that.
Yeah, for us, when we are looking at scholarships, it is merit-based, which means that they need 90% or above minimum in the CBSE. And as far as the English language tests are concerned, for CBSE, there is no waiver. We do waive it off for the A levels and the IB curriculum. However, they will still need to present it for Irish student visa. So in a way, it is mandatory. If not for the university, then for the visa.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Saurabh, you wanted to say something?
So at University of Victoria, first the scholarship criteria, I mean, we are looking at good grades. Good grades means that if in case you are a CBSE or an ISC student, then we are looking at 90 to 93% kind of grades. However, if in case you're an IB student, then 32 points is the minimum that we look at. If you are an A-level student, then obviously based on your grades, which should be at least a B and upwards, not less than that, you can get some kind of scholarship. And what the first criteria that we take into consideration is your class 10 performance, and based on that we give you a conditional scholarship, because applications close in January 31st, and by the time you won't have anything in hand. So based on 10th we will evaluate and we'll give you a conditional scholarship. And regarding this English language criteria, yes, we can waive off the condition for the IELTS or TOEFL if in case your past 4 years of education has been done in English. For students who are doing an IBDP, I mean, if you score a 4 point or above in your IBHL English, then we can waive that off. Or if in case you are getting a C in your British curriculum A-level English, then from that also we can waive it off. So waiver is not a problem, but however for the visa, yes, you need an IELTS or TOEFL.
Got it.
So I can see one question from Arnav. He says, is SAT required for applying and getting scholarships? So I guess for Canadian universities, it is not required. I can see Niharika has answered that. So if any other university, I guess Doljit doesn't also require any of the competitive exams here. So I would like to ask.
I would just like to add that if you've taken your SAT, we allow you to self-report, and it does help for admissions plus your scholarships. So at University of Ottawa, anyways, admissions are very competitive. Mahita ma'am, just for your information, we do not have students with less than 85%. Most of our students have more than 85% before they get into University of Ottawa. That's one. Two is for scholarships, because most of our students are meritorious students who have more than 85 and above. The scholarship requirements are higher because they're pushed up higher. Top 3%. So when I'm saying top 3%, students with more than 92% are eligible for scholarships. You would not find anybody less than 92% getting a scholarship at University of Ottawa, be it automatic or be it the ones that they need to apply to, the meritorious ones. As far as the IELTS is concerned, we are University of Ottawa will require either the IELTS or the TOEFL for admissions. We have very stringent rules in terms of both admissions and IELTS. Please make sure that the student takes his IELTS, get a minimum of 6.5 with 6.5 in each module. So there are 4 sections. Make sure that he has 6.5 in each section. The higher the better for him. But this is the bare minimum requirement for University of Ottawa. So I think these are the two things. These are the 2 questions that you had. I hope I've been able to answer those.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I would like Mahip to add to the scholarship part, and I also want to know that as you have campuses in France and other parts of the world, so is IELTS required for your admission process?
Sure. So Almas, as far as scholarships are concerned, for Instituto Marangoni, we look into the overall progression of a student. So with that said, so that means we're going to look into the last 3 years academic record, right from 10th, 11th and 12th. We're going to look into the last 4 years co-curriculum activities of a student. So sometimes what happens is a student can be a 90% grader or can be a 75-80% grader also. A 90% grader is putting all the energy in academics, so we can take a referral from that. But if a student who's 80%, that means they're putting the energy somewhere else. So we need to see, maybe they're a national level scuba diver or a black belt taekwondo player or a dancer, singer, musician working with the NGOs. So we look into all these things. So academically, co-curriculum activities, SOP, portfolio, interview, combining everything, then we work on the scholarship board, part. So yeah, scholarships are definitely there, as I mentioned before, but yeah, we look into the overall progression. That's question number 1. Question number 2, for the IELTS examination, yes, we do have a requirement. We never had a requirement before in the Milan campus, but now for the last 7-8 months, we do have a requirement for the IELTS, and plus for the London, you have to have an IELTS examination. So yeah, IELTS is there, of course, in all our campuses.
So thank you very much.
Ilmaz, I think there are 2 more questions in the chat box.
Yeah, I'll just look into it.
Satvik is asking,
yeah, it has been answered. Yeah, ma'am, I can see. Yeah, it has been answered.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was skipping that. Yeah, so I would like to thank you, ma'am, for giving us this opportunity to have this session, and I would like to thank all the delegates for sitting with us patiently and all the students.
Thank you to all patients. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So I'll see most of you at 12 then. And this is goodbye from us now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mahida.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And thank you all the attendees. Thanks.
Thank
all
you.
the panelists.
Bye-bye. See you at 12, everyone. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.